What? You own this place? Oh, did we trigger you?
Okay.
Did
Woman, then tell me if you have a vagina. I don't give a if you have a vagina.
did we trigger you, sir or ma'am?
Okay, first of all, I wasn't talking to you, so shut the up. And you, I don't care if you
Wow. Remember those gender-bending grifters who were taking part in Ontario Collegiate Varsity Volleyball this past season? Back in January, yours truly and camerawoman Avery Armstrong ventured out to Toronto Centennial College to take in a series between the Centennial Colts female volleyball team, which was hosting the Seneca Sting female volleyball team. Then again, maybe we should put female in quotation marks, because almost 50% of both starting rosters were biological males. We kid you not. Here, check out this descent into madness.
Why? Shut up.
Why? Oh, wow.
Answer my question.
Did we trigger you? Sir, why are you playing with the woman? Why are you taking away a real woman's spot? I'm just asking questions.
Over here.
Who are you, ma'am?
You're not allowed over here.
Why? Hey, don't touch me. Why are you allowing men to play with biological females? Sir, why are you taking away a spot from a real woman? Hey, excuse me. Don't touch me, sir. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
What's wrong with you?
Why are men playing with women? We saw it with our own eyes, and now they're changing this. Hey, coach, why are you playing male players? Why are you playing male players?
I'm not.
Biological males. Why are you doing that? What happened to chivalry?
It's not that in my world.
Why are you transphobic, huh?
Why?
No.
Am I being transphobic? Why?
Shut up.
Why? Oh, wow.
Answer my question.
Did we trigger you?
I hope you can go rot in hell, you f***ing wife. You wanna go play?
Oh, did we trigger you?
Okay. Do you have a pussy, so you're a woman? That's.
Sir, are you suffering from mental illness? I'm sorry.
If you have a f***ing vagina, I don't give a f*** if you have a vagina.
Unsurprisingly, the Seneca Sting took the 5-game series 3-1, given that the poor Colts were literally outmanned. You see, Centennial only had 2 dudes on the roster, while Seneca had 3. So you might ask, what's new on the sporting sausage fest front? Well, believe it or not, folks, I just learned that one of Seneca's Frankenfemmes, Franz Lagardis, has received a scholarship for volleyball. That's odd. The definition of a woman is a person with a vagina, according to Supreme Court Justice Sheila Martin. And keep in mind that he played for the Seneca College male team the previous season. Then again, maybe his penis now identifies as a vagina. Oh, it's also confusing, isn't it? But I'll tell you this, many people in the volleyball community, they aren't confused. They're downright furious. They're the ones who tipped us off to this latest transanity nonsense. Indeed, thanks to Mr. Lagardis receiving his scholarship, this deprives a genuine biological female from receiving the award. Does anyone think that's fair? It gets worse. Mr. Lagardis has been known to give opposing female volleyball players concussions. Case in point, a source tells us that on January the 22nd, 2024, Lagardis hit a Lasite player in the head, causing a concussion. That's hardly a surprise given that it's an uneven playing field when one allows men to play against women. It should go without saying that Lagardis boasts greater upper body strength than his female opponents, because this pretend she is actually a bona fide he. This is why, of course, with the exception of equestrian and auto racing, sports has always been separated by male and female divisions. 'Twas ever thus until, alas, radical transgender ideology began to fester on campus. Oh, and another thing, while Franz Lagardis is a female when it comes to varsity collegiate volleyball, get a load of this. When the collegiate season is over, he goes back to playing in a male volleyball league. Come on, Lagardis. Pick a lane already. And so it is that we have now moved beyond acceptance and tolerance when it comes to men invading female sports. Indeed, now we are rewarding these gender-bending grifters. This is beyond outrageous. It's downright misogynistic. Now, we reached out to Seneca College to see if it had any statement to make regarding those biological female athletes who have contacted Rebel News complaining that Mr. Lagardis has cheated a real woman out of receiving a scholarship. We sent an email and a voicemail to Seneca spokesman Ryan Flanagan seeking a statement, but Flanagan is one of those spokes thingies that does not communicate, and our messages went unreturned. This is hardly surprising given that Flanagan had myself and my cameraman frog marched off Seneca College's King City campus back in February. The reason? Well, apparently our values do not align with Seneca's values, which is to say, Rebel News does not believe that men should be allowed to compete in female sports, whereas in the name of diversity, equity, and inclusion, the woke mob at Seneca has no problem with such shenanigans. Here, check out my surreal interview with Mr. Flanagan.
Is this really all about being worried of being called transphobic as opposed to doing what's right for biological females?
We do what's right for all of our students and support all of our students.
Okay, but that's clearly not the case if biological women are being denied a place on the team. I mean, again, it sounds like garden variety misogyny to me, sir.
We support all of our students and all of our student athletes.
I feel like I'm interviewing a Coke machine. You know, I mean, it's just one repetition. And you are really with media relations, sir?
Yes, sir.
And what's your name?
Ryan
Ryan
Flanagan. Flanagan.
Flanagan.
Flanagan.
Okay, then. Can you tell me, Ryan, since you are media relations and we're with the media, why are we being denied access to a publicly funded institution?
We have a security plan in place, and I would defer to our security experts and ask that you help them carry out maintaining the security of the event.
But we mean no harm unless you consider insensitive questions harmful. We're just here to cover this game. I'd love to speak to the men on the female team. Where's the harm in that?
We've been asked to have a security plan in place for this, and we support all of our students, and we have no further comment.
And who asked you?
Pardon?
You said we've been asked. Who asked you to put the security plan in place?
We as an institution have been asked.
Okay, is this, I guess, the coach? He doesn't want our presence here, or the men who are on the roster, they don't want our presence here? I'm just trying to figure out who's who in the zoo here.
Yeah, we have no comment on that.
Say, what is the price of soy these days? Anyway, now it should be noted that the scholarship Lagardis was awarded is named for Angela James. Now, according to the Canadian Encyclopedia, Angela James is known as, quote, the Wayne Gretzky of women's hockey. James was a pioneering and dominant force in women's hockey during the 1980s and 90s. She led the Canadian women's hockey team to 4 world championships, 1990, 92, 94, and 97. She was also one of the first 3 women to be inducted into the International Ice Hockey Federation Hall of Fame, end quote. So it was that I reached out to Miss James. After all, one would think she has skin in the game when it comes to female athletics, and the fact that the Angela James Scholarship is being awarded to a man, what did she think about that? Well, here, check out my brief conversation.
Is this with regards to the Rebels?
Yes, Rebel News, that's right.
Rebel News, yeah. Hi, David. You know what? I'm just going to just not comment today on anything. I know there's lots of things going on, and I prefer not to comment, but I do know for a fact that the awards they weren't sex specific. So as far as I'm concerned, whoever is entitled and eligible for those, I'm more than happy to give them, because a lot of those scholarships are for needed athletes.
Right, but I think, Ms. James, that's at the crux of the matter of my report, is that this is a biological male passing himself off as female.
Yeah, I understand what your report is, but as far as I'm concerned, you know, the stipulations and the bylaws and you know, the Constitution are written, and you know, that's pretty much law. It doesn't matter what I think one way or another. The fact remains is that those are the bylaws, and we have to pass. We don't have a right to pass judgment.
Don't you find that odd? That the so-called Wayne Gretzky of women's hockey doesn't seem all that upset, or at least she's pretending not to be upset with Lagardis getting enriched in her name. How sad. Maybe Angela James is cognizant of the woke backlash tennis legend Martina Navratilova received when she spoke out about trans women invading female sports. Alas, going to bat for biological women who are being victimized gets one branded as a transphobe when it comes to the loony left, who are no longer all that into feminism anymore, it would appear. In any event, I did a little digging vis-a-vis Angela James. Now that her glory days on the ice are long behind her, what has she been up to lately? Well, if you can imagine, folks, until a few years ago, Angela James was gainfully employed with the athletics department at Seneca College. So could another theory as to why Angela James is not really all that concerned about fairness to females is that she subscribes to the mantra of winning at all costs? And if that means stacking the Seneca Sting women's volleyball team with three dudes, then so be it. I know almost nothing about volleyball, but I do know this. A roadmap to victory for a female volleyball team would be to stack that roster with as many elite male players as possible. And this is where we are headed in the years to come. That on college campuses, the male varsity teams will be comprised of men, of course, but that the female varsity teams will also be comprised of men. In other words, there will be a men's A team and a men's B team, and the men's B team, well, that was the squad that once upon a time was known as the women's team. I also find it perversely ironic that Angela James wears the mantle of the Wayne Gretzky of women's hockey, because I wonder, what if the real Wayne Gretzky of yesterdecade had started to identify as a female, thereby knocking Angela James or another real female hockey player off the national team roster? Would Angela have been okay with that back in the 80s and 90s when she was playing elite women's hockey? But then again, that was then and this is now. Angela's shinny days are long gone. And this trans thingy, it's a little too third rail, wouldn't you say? Best to turn a blind eye to the woke perversity rather than doing the right thing. Like, who needs all that hassle, eh? Or then again, maybe the prime directive of Angela James these days is to ensure that her former employer, Seneca College, has female varsity teams that will win collegiate championships. And if that means stacking the rosters of those teams with chicks sporting dicks, then so be it. Does Miss James now subscribe to the famous quote of the late great football legend Vince Lombardi? In other words, quote, "Winning isn't everything, it's the only thing," end quote. And if winning means throwing real female athletes under the bus and financially rewarding male gender-bending grifters in the process, well then, so be it. Please go to transmadness.com, that's transmadness.com, sign the petition, and if you can help us do this independent journalism, because you'll never see the mainstream media here covering something like this, kindly make a donation.